Okay, well today we're going to strip down a TD42. This particular engine has just recently been rebuilt. However, it seems that the rings and possibly the valve seals haven't seated properly. So first of all, we're going to do is run the TD42 till we warm up the engine, which I've just done, and we're going to drop the oil. Underneath the car you can see you've got the oil sump, and the oil sump drain plug is located just over here, which is what we'll undo and hopefully drain the oil into our catch can. Now the TD42 holds between 12 and 15 litres of oil, so you've got to make sure your catch can is going to be able to hold all that. This one we've got here today is only about 9 or 10 litres, so we have to do it in 2 lots. So you just want to let the oil totally drain out, leave it for 10 to 15 minutes, and while that's doing that, you can get started on starting to remove some of the intake assembly on the engine. This particular TD42 has been built up with some modified internals. It's running a Garrett GT3071R ball bearing turbo. It's quite a large turbo for a 4.2 diesel. You probably wouldn't go any larger. It tends to spool up at around 1000 RPM and will pull all the way through to about 5.5 grand. This engine was built up with the aim of getting around 200 plus kilowatts out of the engine. So far we haven't had too much luck with this engine, but hopefully we'll solve that by changing the rings out. Anyway, first what we've got to do is start taking off all the intake system. So the intake piping, the intercooler, all the intercooler piping, and just clear the way so we can gain access to the head, and also the block water drain, which is down the back on the passenger side of the engine block, down behind the turbo. Okay, we're back. We've taken some of the intake off now. We've removed all the air conditioning compressor piping, and I've also drained the radiator. But that does not mean the whole engine block is going to be drained of coolant. We have to now get down to the block. I don't know whether we can see down there, but there's a fitting on the side of the block there which will drain the rest of the coolant from the block, which we have to take out. And then we're going to start to cut back all the ties for the wiring loom, move it out the way, disconnect the radiator hose off the thermostat housing, and yeah, just keep plodding along. Okay, well, we've disconnected the radiator hoses, and we've also dumped the engine block water straight out into the bucket, and now we're going to take the rocker cover off. I've already undone all the bolts, so it's just as simple as lifting this up. Like so. Move it out of the way. Getting a bit of a look at your rocker cover. Now from here we've got to undo the head bolts, which are located underneath the rockers, so the whole rocker assembly is going to have to come off, and around the rockers. You're also going to have to take off the thermostat housing. When you take off the thermostat housing, this bolt at the back down here, you have to take real care. This bolt's quite long. I've already undone it. It actually goes all the way down into the timing case housing. You've got to be really careful you don't snap this bolt, otherwise you're going to cause yourself a lot of grief. When you take the thermostat manifold off, you don't actually have to undo every bolt. You can just undo the back bolt. The two bolts here at the front, 1, 2, they just come out. They're quite long. Take care with these ones. There's two other bolts down below which you can't see. There's one here and there's one about here somewhere, and the last bolt is over here, which I've already taken out. Alright, and that's how you take off the thermostat housing. Alright, we've just taken the rocker assembly off, and we've also just lifted the head. As you can see, it looks pretty good. One thing to remember when you're lifting the head is you really need a few people to keep an eye to make sure you don't foul on anything. We've still got the head hanging up here at the moment. When you do lift your head off, you want to keep an eye out for your fuel lines. You don't have to lift your head off all complete like this. You can strip it right down, but we're being a bit lazy today. If you have a look under here, you want to check your pre-comp chambers for cracking. These ones are looking pretty good. They should be. They're all brand new, and you can see all the burning oil build up that we've got here. And yeah, when you put your head down, you want to make sure you watch out for the face. You don't want to put it down on anything that's going to scratch your face. Okay, we've just dropped the sump off. As you can see all the main bearings and the oil pickup. We just cleared all the shit off the oil pickup. There wasn't that much on there. We're going to take the bearing caps off and get ready to knock the pistons out. Okay, we just pulled out the number 4 piston, and it looks as if we've found our problem. We've destroyed a ring groove and the ring groove.
The rings are actually intact, but the groove itself's broken out, as you can see there.
So it looks like new pistons. We've been pretty lucky. There's actually no damage to the bore. All the metal has stayed on the piston. We'll pull the others out and we'll see what else we can find. Okay, we've finished pulling out all the pistons now. At first look, it looks like the only problem we've got is that one piston with the broken ring groove. We're just going to cover the block up now with some rags to stop shit from getting in there. And yeah, we'll have to buy some new pistons and put it all back together again.